Hey guys, Brian with Cajun Cardboard coming at you from the great state of Louisiana, and I do this every 2 or 3 weeks. We go back and we revisit the polls that I post on my YouTube channel, which gets so much engagement, and I'm so happy about it. And I really have fun because every once in a while I'll come up with a question. And it's like, I wonder what people think about boom, fill in the blank, X, Y, Z. What if you had to choose amongst these 3 or 4 players or these 3 options, or these 3 products? What would you do? And so today's episode is another one of those where we revisit the poll results that I post on my YouTube channel and just kind of talk through it and look at some of the cool comments from some of you guys and gals who watch the channel that I appreciate so much. So without any delay, let's get cranking. The first question that I posted, I think since the last episode of the YouTube poll result check-in, was if you could rip one box, which would you rip? And I probably should have made this more clear. I'm saying assume they're all free and you get to keep the contents. Which one would you choose? And I put 1961. Basically, I put I think probably 5 of my 7 favorite products in the world. 61 Fleer, 69 Tops, 86 Fleer, 1997 Metal Universe, which is my favorite 90s product, and then 96 Chrome, which I know a lot of people love. And so I was fascinated by this because probably the most predictable product would be 1986 Fleer, but everybody chose this. It might just be because they're guaranteed to hit like 7 Jordans in this thing, right? Because I think you get like 3.5 rookies and 3.5 stickers or something like that. I probably should know, but I don't. But let's look at some of the comments. This was a runaway. 86 Fleer got almost as much as all the other products combined. Nobody wanted the tall boys. 61 Fleer, honest to God, I might choose 61 Fleer because I'm ripping that box. I know those are going to be pretty damn sharp edges and corners and surface, and that's kind of a big part of vintage. And so all you got to do is hit 1 or 2 big centering. I would probably rip the 61 Fleer box because I think the contents would grade incredibly well. Even the comments, I'd grade every single card that I pulled out of there, quite likely, to be honest, because there's set collectors out there as well. So I would probably go with 61 Fleer, which I know sounds like sacrilege because I'm an 86 Fleer guy. But let's look at some of the comments. All of them, but since I grew up during the 86 era, it's 86 Fleer for me. Joe Alpha. Hobby Champs was funny because Hobby Champs says you should put the cost of each of the box options. It might affect the way we vote. And my answer to him was, assume they're all free. It's my fault. I didn't phrase the question right. And his response was, I'll DM you my address. You can send me all the free boxes. Wouldn't that be nice? What a day that would be to rip all 5 of these boxes. Metal Universe wins. JG. I know football. Can't believe paper is winning. Yeah, believe it or not, it is. Tube Nachos is with me. 61 Fleer. Not even close. So many amazing Hall of Fame rookie cards, just like 86 Fleer, but only 66 cards, so you're just getting them ad nauseum, one after the other. The question should need no thinking. I don't really know what Matthew was saying. I mean, maybe it's obvious to him, but it wasn't obvious to me. That's why I posted it. You'd be dumb not to want to pull a Jordan rookie card. I don't have to state the obvious reason. Come on. And yeah, of course, that's true. So that was question number 1. Apparently, 86 Fleer ran it, and it wasn't even really close. The next question was, who was the more athletic player? This was an argument I was having with my good friend here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We sometimes go back and forth. I'll be honest, I love him, but he's a contrarian. Mark, you know who you are. You're a contrarian. You always like to take the opposite side of the plurality, of the majority, and I get it. I respect it, but in this case, your opinion is not correct, right? There's no wrong opinion. Well, in this case, there is. You made the statement that Jerry West was more athletic than Kobe Bryant. Obviously, I don't think that's the case. I gave you 100 reasons why. And then, the other thing is a lot of the people watching my channel are probably not in their 70s or 80s. And so Kobe's probably going to win this. But 93-7, Kobe in a landslide. And the reason we got to this is because we were talking about something else. And then I told him my dad used to always tell me that Jerry West was like the most athletic guard that he had ever seen. Zeke from Cabin Creek. That was my dad's hero growing up. Jerry West was. And he tried to get me to be like Jerry West, play like Jerry West, play the same position as Jerry West, jump like Jerry West. And then I saw Jerry West play and I was like, he ain't that athletic. I mean, he might have been okay athletic for his time, and I get it. He actually shot a jump shot, which a lot of people didn't do, but he wasn't Kobe. And so this is just settling an argument, and I think I won in a very conclusive manner. The next question, the next poll that I posted, and we got 194 votes on this one. Are you having more or less fun in the card hobby than you were in 2019? I am losing money. In 2019, I was making a fortune. Literally, I was printing money and having a blast doing it. I'll be honest with you, I'm having more fun right now. I didn't have my channel in 2019. I didn't know as much about cards. I wasn't even collecting Jordan or 90 stuff at all. I was collecting completely different stuff, and I was having a really fun time, which is why I stayed in it. But I'm having more fun today, and I'm losing money on cards. And to be honest with you, 47%, and this is reassuring to me that 194 votes came in, and 47% of them said I'm having more fun. And then if you remove the 19% that I wasn't even in the hobby in 2019, but I'm having fun now, that's also reassuring, because that means people came in post 2019, which is always a good sign. Some of the comments to this one, let's see what some of these are. Standing outside of Target on Friday mornings talking to other collectors was lit. I will agree with that. I didn't do it, but I used to love to watch those videos. This is a tough one. 2019 was fun. 2023 was fun. This is Slim Thumbtack, but for different reasons. I'd have to say it's about even between the two, to be honest. Fair enough. Tube Nachos, one of the greatest watchers of my channel, comments all the time. Tube Nacho says he's having less fun. The wax prices are ludicrous, out of my budget, and even cheap paper products. He stopped ripping after 2019. And if you guys watch my channel, I kind of have stopped ripping too. I used to buy cases of Prism in 2017, 18, 19, and you just can't do it anymore. It's just cost prohibitive. You never get it. And so I kind of agree on that aspect, but I will say this, and it's in a landslide. I'm having way more fun today than I was then, because I get to talk to you guys, and you guys are my outlet 7 days a week. And so it's different, but I would say more fun today than then. What about the next question? It was, you have a one-of-one card, and I can't remember if the video came out yet, but I've got a video coming out on whether we should grade one-of-one cards. It's either this week or it's already come out. I think it's coming out this week. You have a one-of-one card. It can be any one-of-one card. Pick any player, any year, any card, any product, any sport. And do you always grade it no matter what? Never grade it no matter what? Or grade it only if it looks gem worthy? And the reason I ask this question is because when I got into the hobby in 2016, got back into the hobby, I should say, in like 2016-ish, something like that, I used to always hear people say, you don't grade one-of-ones. You don't need to grade one-of-ones because you don't need to distinguish your card from another because there's only one and you've got it. And I disagree with that. And I did a video telling why I disagree with it. I think there's a lot of important factors to grading cards. It's not just to distinguish yours being better than the other. It's not just to put it in a hierarchy with other copies of the same card. There's more to it than that. To preserve it, to authenticate it, to satisfy your OCD nature, where all your cards have to look the same or be in the same kind of slabs. It's like if you're a graded card collector and you would grade a gold serial number to 10 or orange serial number to 49, then why wouldn't you grade a black one-of-one or a nebula one-of-one or just a one-of-one masterpiece? It doesn't make any sense to me. A lot of people say grade it only if it looks gem worthy, and I kind of disagree with that because you get a free swing, right? What if you grade it and it comes back a PSA 6? Crack it, and now you got it back raw, and you didn't lose anything except a couple $100 to grade the thing. So I would always grade it no matter what. That's just me, and those are my kind of reasons behind it. Let's see what some of the comments were on this one. James says, grade no matter what. The condition of ungraded cards could get worse over time, moisture, heat, dropping it, scratches, etc. But grading preserves the condition. Okay, so that was my point number one. Save it, protect it, put it in a slab, and you're a little bit less likely to damage the card or fumble it or something like that. That's what I've been wondering after hitting a one-of-one Dennis Schroeder from Illusions, to grade or not to grade. Well, I've got a different answer for you on that. Unless you're a Dennis Schroeder super collector, I probably would not grade that card. That's just me. Is it Lakers? And then somebody wanted to buy it. Oh, it's Rockets. So close. He's only played on 23 teams. Vintage Collector 5340 says, if it's a true one-of-one, then grading it shouldn't matter. And so this is what I was told when I came into the hobby by so many people. The rarity of the card should speak for itself. It's the only copy in existence. While that is true, I think there are other reasons to grade it that have been aforementioned. Hobby Champs comes in, if it's a star player or a rookie, always grade for authentication with a number grade. Just my opinion, and I'm with them, And Montana chimes in, that's what I'm thinking. Depends on the card, but a higher value one in decent shape of a rookie or star makes sense to me. Don't think it's worth slabbing a common player one-of-one. Probably not. And I probably could have made that distinction in the question, but I agree with those things. And then this guy comes in with, I have 4, and Willen Joseph Lee says, wow, so 4 one-of-ones. Awesome. One-of-ones aren't quite as rare as they used to be. Next question was okay. So this poll I posted right about when PSA dropped their grading from 19 to 15 for sports cards, and so I think it's like 1990 to present is $15. Maybe I got that wrong, but I think that's right. It's got to be $199 or less, 65-day turnaround, and a 10 card minimum to qualify for the 15. But they dropped their there it is right there in the question. Yeah, 1990 to 2023 sports cards are now $15. So I asked the question, which one of these are you? Either you weren't grading at 19, but now you're going to grade at 15. That's a big chunk, 24%. That's one of every 4 people says yes. I was grading at 19 anyway, so I will continue to grade at 15. That's me. It's like $4 on a card doesn't really matter that much to me. It doesn't change my margins, and so many of the cards that I'm grading are for PC reasons anyway that it didn't really matter to go from 19 to 15. Yeah, it's a welcome bonus. A lot of people think it's an indication that there's this doomsday out there where PSA doesn't have enough business or this or that. I think they're just sliding a fulcrum back and forth and seeing what maximizes their revenue. And I think it's going to be a little bit of trial and error over the next couple of months and maybe even years until they figure out what exactly the hobby demand is and what that perfect price point is for them to maximize revenue. So, again, remember, if they drop it to 15 and they get inundated with cards and flooded with cards, then they may have to hire more staff, which raises their overhead. And so remember, it's not just dollars revenue. Obviously, they're going to make a lot of revenue by moving it to 15, probably more because they're going to give away $4 per card, but they're going to get so many more extra cards, from people submitting to PSA. But they also have to hire people. So it's a cost benefit analysis for PSA. Then some people, the majority of people, 45%, almost half said, I am still waiting for a cheaper option before I grade with PSA. And so I probably should have put another option on here that I don't grade with PSA, period, so it doesn't matter. So those people are out there as well, and I apologize for kind of that oversight. Card Connect says, once third graders learn how to grade, it may be an option at $5. $19 bulk has been about 30-day turnaround. It's better than 15 in 65 days, and that's true, and I will buffer that and support that, A. Hansen. That is true. Like, I've been getting my cards back in 5 weeks at $19. But here's the deal. I don't think they're saying it's going to take 65 days. They're just guaranteeing it won't take more than 65 days. And I think they're just building that cushion in there so they don't overpromise. So I think they're still going to come back in 5 weeks at $15. I don't think it means forget your 30-day, we're coming back 65 now. I think they're just covering their ass because they're asking for all this extra influx that I think they just want to cover themselves, that if the load that comes in is bigger than they expected it would be, that's what she said, then they will just kind of make sure they hit that 65 number. PSA grading at less than 15 means the market has completely crashed. I don't get it. I don't understand how going from 19 to 15 would mean it crashed, or 15 to 12, or 12 to 4. And then SP123 replies, they get 1 million submissions at $15 a card. It doesn't make sense for them to go any lower. Well, we don't know because we don't run the company. We're not Nat Turner, and we're not the CFO, and we don't look at their books and see what their overhead is and what their fixed expenses and fixed costs are to grade a card. Because remember, it's not just about maximizing revenue. It's about maximizing revenue and minimizing expenses, subtracting one from the other, and calculating what yields the highest profit margin. That's how you run businesses. But SP123 does have a good point. Yeah, I don't think it's ever going to get to $8 a card, but if it does, whatever, we'll play the game. We'll see what happens. Hobby Champs he's 3 for 3. He's responded to everything. I'm more about them raising the max declared value. 200 is nonsense. I get it. That's fine. But here's the deal. You could put a $400 card in a bulk submission in those 10 cards that you submit at $15, and if sometimes you fly under the radar. In fact, oftentimes, I fly under the radar with cards that come back PSA 10s that are worth way more than $200. I don't get upcharged, so I think it's worth a shot. Hobby Champs, and again, I'm not telling you how to do your deal here, but I'd throw them in there. And if you get hit with an upcharge, take the upcharge. Big deal. You get upcharged to what you would have paid had you sent it in at that higher margin anyway. Too expensive for collectors, should be $10 at the most. I agree with Grumpy Card Collector, and that's a very grumpy comment, so it's apropos. But Grumpy Card Collector 4292, I agree with you. Here's the deal. I think they got to do something where you can grade I'm thinking from the perspective of a vintage collector. I don't collect vintage sets, but I'm thinking like all these old baseball dudes out there that are kind of the foundation of the hobby. Let's say you have a 1973 Topps baseball set. You're trying to put it together in PSA 7 or PSA 8. Those people exist, man. They're out there. Go look at the set registry. They don't want to pay $15 to grade a $1 card hoping to get a PSA 7. There should be some carve out where those vintage set collectors or set collectors in general, I collect, 2012 Prism base. I'm going to send in a bunch of $1 cards. I'm collecting the 2014 Prism World Cup set. I'm sending in literally 50-cent cards trying to get 10s. I shouldn't have to pay $15. I don't need those cards back in 65 days or 30 days. So I would like to have an option out there where I pay $7 or $8 a card. Keep it for a year. I don't give a damn, right? Because I'm just trying to put the set together. I'm not trying to get the set and sell the set. I just want the set. I don't want to pay $15 or $19 a card to grade, a Tony Parker 2012 Prism base that I still need, or a Tyrus Thomas. So charge me $8. Keep my card for 6 months. Keep my card for 9 months. I don't give a damn. Just grade it the same way you're going to grade it. Save me $8 a card because I might be sending 40 of them to complete a set, or 100 for God's sake. Some people. And I wish that carve out option was out there. That's something the PSA should probably consider. Let me know in the comments if you agree with me. Even if you're not a set collector, you can see the dilemma that a set collector would face trying to pay $15 to grade a $2 card. Doesn't make any sense at all. And then we've got this one, the 1986 Fleer number 57 Michael Jordan PSA 10 rookie card value is more likely to hit. And I bring this up because in my Jordan group chat, it's the GOATs. I'm just a fly on a wall listening to these guys make me feel dumber every time I check in on this group chat. These guys know their stuff, to say the least, and to not to cuss. They know their stuff. And we argue about this all the time. They're like, it's not a rare card. It's going down. It's going down. It's going down. And I'm like, I get it. And you guys know more than anybody in this hobby about supply. But what I think they're overlooking is the overwhelming, insane demand. Any rich, FU, deep pockets non-collector who comes into the hobby at any point in the next 10 years, the first basketball card they're going to want is going to be the 1986 Fleer Jordan PSA 10. It's the very first card that they're going to want. Whether they keep it or whether they graduate to Playmakers Theaters and Essential Credentials Now and Futures and Jambalayas and all this other cool stuff that I like, I don't know, but I know this. Any rich actor or, Zion, a porn star friend of Zion's, or, Nikola Jokic's brother comes in and says he wants to start collecting cards, or Antoine Griezmann, who's ripping boxes with, Lamine James and card porn and all those folks. If they get into the hobby and they want to buy a basketball card, the very first card they're going to buy is the 1986 Fleer PSA 10. It's just a fact. It is what it is. And they're going to buy it at $100,000. They're going to buy it at $500,000. The fact of the matter is that's the first card they're going to buy. I think the demand on that card is greater than any card in the hobby, period. I'm including 52 Mantle. I'm including 33 Gaudis. I'm including Honus Wagner's, because a lot of people can't buy those cards. And there's a lot of people that can't buy an 86 Fleer Jordan 10, but everybody can afford or try to build up to an 86 Fleer Jordan in some grade or another. And so for that reason, I feel the demand for that particular card, while there are a zillion of them out there, I get it, it's not rare, the demand far, far exceeds the supply. And for that reason, I think it's going to hit 500,000 before it hits 50,000. Let's just put it this way. There are a lot of people out there, Rick Probstein, amongst others, who are continuously buying the card as it declines. And I don't see any way in the world that it'll ever get to $50,000 again, because there's a lot of people out there who are just going to click the buy it now button if it gets to 140, 130, 125. I might be wrong. I don't know, man. But there's a lot of people out there with a lot more money than me or you watching probably that are like, I am never letting this card get below 125. And while you may think that's unscrupulous, it's business, right? It happens with stocks all the time. So it'll never hit either of these numbers again. That's also a possibility. It may never get to 50. It may never get to 500. May never. Who knows? May not during our lifetime. But more people think it's going to hit 50 than 500,000. And this is one where I just tend to disagree. Next question, next poll. To gain insight into your personality as a card collector, this is stemming from a video that I did the other day where I condemned consolidation, or at least I explained why I'm anti-consolidationist. To gain insight into your personality as a card collector, which would you rather have in your garage? Assuming equal value, assuming they were gifted to you free of charge, no note, no insurance payments, just take these vehicles. Would you rather one Ferrari, any color, or 4 BMW 5 Series convertibles, one red, white, blue, and black? And oh my gosh, 142 votes. This dude was split right down the middle, 51-49. And that is amazing because I think that is an insight into the way that people collect in this hobby. There's people out there like me who want, 40 $10,000 cards more than they want one $400,000 card, right? Did I do that math? Yes, I did that math right. There's people out there that want 10 $1,000 cards more than they want the $10,000 card. And there's people vice versa. And based on the 142 votes, I know it's a kind of a small sample size, but give me some slack. I'm still trying to grow the channel here. I think it's about 50-50. I think that's pretty interesting insight into the hobby regarding the concept of consolidation and the concept of rarity and the concept of, hey, look at me, look what the card that I have. Different people like to flaunt different ways. And I'll be honest with you, man, I'd like to drive a different color BMW every day more than I would like to roll in with a red Ferrari. That's just me, dude. I don't know what else to say. But you guys knew that if you watch my channel. So last poll question 4 days ago, and I need to think of a good new poll question. If you're watching this and you think there's another poll question that I should ask, put it in the comments because I love going through these. It's easy conversation. It's easy to talk about. And it does give a lot of insight into what all of you guys out there are thinking. And I want to know what my subscribership is thinking so I can make better content for you guys going down the road in the future. The last poll question was, which of the following vintage basketball cards do you think is the most important, not the most valuable, the most important to own as a vintage collector? And I didn't put grade in there for a reason because value doesn't have anything to do with it. Which card's the most important? And my card won. 61 Fleer Wilt Chamberlain. I agree. I would say 61 Fleer Wilt Chamberlain number one, and I would say not really close. 57 Bill Russell number two. I would be 50-50 on that. I'm torn between Bill Russell and Kareem, between the Lou Alcindor 69 Topps Tall Boy and the 57 Russell. But most people lean towards Russell. So Chamberlain by a nose, then Russell, George Mikan fourth, which was surprising because it's really the first, licensed, Topps Bowman-ish type product. 48's really the first year of I know they got like bread truck cards and all sports cards and some other weird, oddball, obscure cards out there. I'm not a vintage expert, but when you think of vintage cards, you figure the Bowman Mikan's the first granddaddy of them all, the first Grail vintage card, vintage basketball card. So you go 48, 57, 61, 69. So that's 4 sets in a 22-year period. That's pretty crazy. And then Doc is way behind. And I think it's just because Doc wasn't on the same level as these guys as a player, although he was an ambassador for the game and he brought the NBA and the ABA together and he played the game differently than anybody before him. He has incredible historic relevance, unquestionably on and off the court, one of the true pros out there. But I think he's fifth when it comes to the accolades on paper resumes for the 5 guys listed. He is a distant fifth compared to these other 4 guys, in my personal opinion. So that was an interesting answer to that question too. Only one comment on that one, but tons of votes, 203. The comment was Billy. Which my good friend Trevor from down the road here, Ballin' for Jesus 3645. We are Ballin' for Jesus, by the way. Billy, I'll assume that means Bill Russell and not anybody else on here. So yeah, he's voting for Billy. Okay, fair enough. That's fine. He was one of the GOATs, man. He is always going to be intertwined with Wilt Chamberlain. That's never going away. And as much as I love Michael Jordan, we are never going to escape this Jordan versus LeBron nonsense. It's going to be out there forever. There's no way around it. Nothing LeBron does, good or bad, from this point forward will ever extricate him from the argument of who's the GOAT between those 2 guys. It's just not going away. And so that's just part of the fun of the hobby, is arguing about who's better, ranking them, historical rankings, things like that. I've got some great videos coming up on that as well. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. A couple reminders: I'm about to affiliate with PWCC, so I'm going to have a promo code and a link for you guys to use to buy and or sell and or vault with the PWCC Vault like I do, which will help me get paid, which will help me grow and improve the channel and put out some really good content and buy some cool stuff to rip on the channel. Every dollar that I make from this is going right back into cards. You got my word on that. Period. End of story. That is where all of my card money goes. Whenever I sell cards, I put it back into cards. Whenever I sell commodity cards, I put it into rare cards that I want to keep. And guess where those end up? They end up in my mail days on Saturdays and Sundays, where I get to learn, teach myself, teach you guys, talk about it, share it. It's one of the best things about the hobby. And so I've also got now a PayPal donation link. A couple of people have already donated significantly more money than I was expecting. I was really kind of surprised at how much it was. I was thinking of about $5 or $10 here and there. You know, if you do appreciate the content and you want me to keep making great stuff, you know, and if you've enjoyed the last 18 months for free, consider giving me $1 or $2, or 23 was the number that I think came up a lot because people know how much I like Jordan. But again, no obligation whatsoever. I'm not sitting here begging you guys. It's just there so you guys know. There's a PayPal link. Go on to my channel, top right. It's right next to my Instagram and Facebook. And by the way, if you're not following me on Instagram and Facebook, go follow me on Instagram and Facebook. I post a lot of cool stuff on there as well and do a couple of Instagram reels, some cool stuff. But hit that PayPal link and donate. It's easy. Just boom, send it over. You got it. And I appreciate in advance anything anybody sends over. I promise you all the money's going back into making this a bigger, better, and badder channel than it already is, because I'm on fire. I'm having more fun in 2023 than I was in 2019, and I hope you guys are too. And if you're not, let's figure out a way to make you have more fun. Let's do something new. Let's pick a new set to collect. Let's pick a new player to PC. Let's go outside of our sport and buy some tennis cards or golf cards or Game of Thrones cards or Harry Potter cards or wrestling cards or something crazy. Do something to spark yourself. If you feel like you're getting in a rut, just do something new. If you're not comfortable going into other sports and stuff, just go kind of research maybe a new era of cards to collect. Like, I'm starting to look a little bit closer at vintage. I've kind of resisted the temptation because I'm kind of hyper-focused on the 90s stuff, but I feel a little spark when I start looking at the 61 set. I might chase that 61 Fleer set, figure out what grade to chase it and chase it. But anyway, think of something outside the box to spark you and make sure that you don't get stagnant, you don't get stale. And that's kind of what life's about, man. It's like moving on from one goal to the next. Now I sound like a father of 7 talking to my kids who don't listen to anything I say and just roll their eyes. Anyway, thank you guys for watching as always. Keep collecting. Remember, put in the comments any other YouTube polls that you think I should post. I can't tell you I'll take every one and post them, but I'm always looking for new ideas of good content and some good YouTube polls. If there's anything out there you were always wondering, let me know and we'll put it in the YouTube poll. Thank you guys for watching. Keep collecting, stay positive in the hobby, and peace.